This is the Biz Call. Question 1, what's your name?
Robert Becker.
Okay, question 2, what's the name of your business?
Humaginarium.
Question 3, describe your business in a few sentences.
Humaginarium is working on health promotion through the medium of commercial video games.
Interesting. You want to expand on how you do that?
Well, we're building game simulations of chronic illness, and the game simulations allow ordinary people to explore and learn about and use the science of medicine and of biology and chemistry. And in the course of doing so, they not only get to win the game, but they pick up some transferable skills that they can take into their real life to alleviate some of their needs having to do with the chronic illness that they have or that they're been diagnosed as being at risk.
Interesting. Question 4, what's your revenue model?
We are freemium in that we are giving away the product at the first step, and we are offering revenue-earning extras and add-ons to unlock content and additional services. We also have ancillary revenue streams from advertising and content sponsorship, and the sale of data analytics based upon user behavior in our applications.
Okay, I think I know the answer to question 5, but question 5, are you brick and mortar, online, or both?
Online only.
Okay, question 6, this is my favorite one. How did you decide to get into this business?
The origin story of Humaginarium goes back about 10 years. I was a parent of a young child that was diagnosed with a chronic illness early on. And I got to experience something that I never experienced for myself, which was the nightmare known as the healthcare industry and the healthcare system. And it dawned on me that the healthcare industry and the healthcare system were somewhat dysfunctional and unreliable, to put it mildly, and extremely expensive. And it occurred to me that what was missing from the healthcare system that we have was patient empowerment, the ability of patients to take care of themselves, to make better choices and better decisions for themselves, and to take responsibility for their own health. So the origin of Humaginarium came from that experience. I wanted to do something about it, about the problem I found there, and I didn't start working on it full-time, of course. I started working on this full-time only 4 years ago, but was thinking about it in the interval, and now I'm full steam ahead.
Alrighty then. Question 7, I'm not sure how this goes, so yeah. Question 7, why would customers choose you over your competition?
Because healthcare and health and sickness and disease are not fun. When you survey the alternatives for getting health information, health education, health promotion, you find a lot of bleak and complicated information that is hard to digest unless you're a graduate student or a doctor, and is also difficult to stomach because it makes people afraid, it makes people angry. So you would choose Humaginarium because we make this type of information, this type of communication, enjoyable. You get to play with it and you get to enjoy it rather than have to learn it and be made uncomfortable about it.
That's fascinating. Question 8, what's your exit strategy or your long-term goal for Humaginarium?
I don't have one. We're a startup, and we're putting 100 110% of our energy and time into figuring out how to do this well and then doing it well, at least for a short amount of time. We don't really include an exit strategy in our thoughts about this now. When it comes to selling shares in the company to investors, I guess we'll have to come up with that. But for right now, I'm not interested in investors, and for right now, I'm not interested in exiting. I'm interested in staying right where I am and doing it well.
That's great. Question 9. What are you doing to increase your business?
Well, everything. We're developing products. We're researching technique and technology and subject matter and market and business model. You know, you name it. We're doing everything. I'm just on the heels, after 4 years, I'm just on the heels of writing our business plan for the first time. It runs to about 75 pages right now, and I expect it's going to be 100 by the time I'm done. And what the business plan is basically a full explanation of what we're doing. Now, someone recently said, why are you writing this long document? Why aren't you writing a pitch deck or 4 or 5 pages of text? Why this long document? Who is this for? He said. And he said it in a tone of voice which made it seem like he was skeptical. And I said, it's for me. It's for me. Because if I can't explain this venture to myself in a way that makes sense and is exciting and inspiring, then God bless me, I'm never going to do it for anybody else. So this document is for me, and hopefully there'll be some good things in here that will be shared out to others who join the business later on.
Cool. Number 10, how do you measure your marketing success?
How do I measure my marketing success? Well, right now our goals for 2021 are brand awareness, and we are trying to increase the numbers, the measurable numbers of stakeholders in our mission who know about us, who are aware of us, and who support us in one way or another. So right now, it's kind of counting heads. How many people are in touch with Humaginarium, and how many of those people have voiced support for what we're doing, and perhaps will become instrumental in our success. That's where we are right now with marketing.
Okay, question 11 can be a one-word answer, yes or no. Are you profitable?
No.
Okay, fair enough. 12, how many employees do you have?
It's just myself and my co-founder right now. We're on the verge of adding 2 more, so that'll be a total of 4. And we have 22 consultants who are working with us at the present time.
Wow. Okay, now, questions 13, 14, 2 sides of the same coin, okay? Question 13, what's been the best decision you've made so far?
The best decision that I've made so far is not to give up. And I've made that decision probably 100 times every year since I've been doing this. Because a startup, a tech startup especially, and more especially an innovative tech startup that's attempting to do something that is not familiar, that hasn't been done before, all of the incentives are for giving up and walking away. None of the incentives are for carrying on. And so that decision to keep going and double down is probably the most important one, and it's one that I've had to make many times.
I so feel your pain. Okay, so question 14. What's been the worst decision you've made so far?
The worst decision I've made so far, I think, is also one that I've made many times. It's especially typical of the process of business incubation. I've participated in 4 business incubators so far. And there is a thing in the world of business incubation called a mentor, a business mentor. And probably the worst decision I've made is to sit down with these people and waste my time collecting their worthless advice. Because I can't tell you the number of times I've been steered into pointless inquiry and fruitless activity based upon the perspective of people who don't really know much of anything except, well, I don't really think they know much of anything, honestly. These are people that come from the business world, they come from the healthcare industry, they come from the entertainment media industry, and so forth. So I guess probably the worst decision I've made is to say, I'm going to sit down with this person, or I'm going to pursue this person and sit down with them and really get their advice and then follow it. That has been a big time sink for me.
You are you are so my kind of guy.
For my business plan, I listed the number of advisors I've actually talked to since 2016 when I started the firm. It comes to just under 300. 300 people I've spent at least an hour with, and of course that doesn't include the follow-up. And honestly, enormous waste of time.
Yeah, and you will not hear people being that honest about it. So excellent. Alrighty, that brings us to question 15, which is sort of a free ball. Is there anything else you'd like to add that maybe we didn't touch on?
I would say I would comment on the word innovation. I think when you start a technology company and you're encouraged to believe in the aura and the mantra of innovation, and in my experience so far, innovation, which by definition is high risk and experimental, and not able to see very far into the future, just trying to figure things out as you go along, there is relatively little true innovation in our economy today that I've seen. Most of what goes by the name of innovation is basically kind of referring back to your earlier question, figuring out my exit strategy, okay? In other words, cashing out. And the idea of doing something that is phenomenally different and game-changing, I've seen very little of it in my journey so far. And so I think when people get excited about innovation, they need to be very skeptical about what they hear and what they read, because it can be misleading.
I think you're a very wise man, Mr. Becker. Once again, give us the name of the business and the URL where people can find you.
It's Humaginarium. There are a couple of URLs. Humaginarium.com is a promotional website. Humaginarium.blog is where I post my opinionated opinions on a weekly or every other week basis. And shortly there'll be a Humaginarium.me, which is a public-facing research and development site.
If you'd like to plug your business on the BizCall podcast, simply visit thebizcall.com and fill out the form. If you become a guest, you'll receive a free lifetime membership to the BizCall discussion and networking list. If you're too shy, you can still join the BizCall list at thebizcall.com.